Let's talk gold. There's $13 million in your sewer sludge. Really? A new study by Arizona State University estimates that in a city of 1 million people, approximately $13 million worth of metals is accumulating in your sewage system. 13 different minerals, gold, silver, copper, platinum, palladium, you name it, are in the sewer system. Okay, $280 per ton of sludge. What does that mean? Does it mean you should be going into the sewer and trying to prospect for gold? No, you shouldn't be, especially when you can get some great gold and silver products right now at reasonable prices at your local dealer. But it goes to show what the sentiment is towards gold now that people are talking about a possible new gold bull run. Let's take a look here. Okay. Some charts that are of interest here that we should take a look at. What's in a chart? Well, a lot and nothing at all, depending on how you look at it. Okay, oil prices settling but falling. We see that happening, and we see Russia and Venezuela and some other oil-producing nations getting hurt by that. However, you don't see the Saudis complaining because they want this to happen. More on that later. Euro dropped. Central bank announces stimulus program. We know that since its inception, the euro is a flawed currency, and there's no country out there that is in the euro system that wants to be in the euro system. Believe me, I was in Finland during the month that they were going to implement the euro, and not one person that I met and talked to there wanted to be in the euro. So people of the world know exactly what's going on. They just haven't had a voice, and they haven't been able to do anything about it, but those times are coming to an end. Bank of Canada cut its overnight interest rate. You see that happening all over the world. They're cutting rates, they're devaluing and depegging currencies, and they do it overnight in the overnight markets. Why? So you don't have a chance to react to it, okay? You ever notice that when you see the close of silver or gold spot price on one trading day, and the next morning you see the open and the price has changed, and you're not really sure why? Well, it's because these hedge funds and these big moneyed entities, they get sweetheart deals, and they're able to get in there, and they're able to bid on commodities in the overnight markets when you don't get to. Another form of manipulation, to be sure. The Central Bank of Brazil raised interest rates. You're going to see interest rate fluctuations this year that are going to make you scratch your head. Nigerian currency falling. Bank of Nigeria making adjustments here. China's GDP growth slowing down. I talked about this a couple of years back, and they're finally beginning to admit it, although the slowdown is a little bit more than what they're admitting to, of course, and that will continue, and that is part of the reason why the new Silk Road has already gotten underway. South Korea's GDP fluctuating quite a bit. I see some volatility in there for sure. U.S. housing starts 7-year high. I don't expect that to continue though, as the rebound is only temporary. We'll call this a dead cat bounce. The British employment situation improving. These numbers here can be in question. UK watchers of this can comment on that. British wages stabilizing. Is that the case or isn't it? You decide. Anybody in the UK making gobs more money? I think not. Okay, silver and gold coveted once more as investors take a look at the yellow and shiny white metal. 1350 is a key resistance level, 1,350 in gold. And when you see that 1350 mark break and hold, what I think is going to happen is that a lot of hedge funds and well-heeled entities out there, the powers that be, are going to flood in to gold, and that's when we see some really big fireworks, and the bull run really takes off and becomes more evident. That doesn't mean that the powers that be aren't going to try to suppress gold and silver prices as we go through this next run of bull, but what it does mean is that you're going to see seesaw action like we saw back in 2011, where we saw $100 swings in the price of gold per day, and we saw silver swing a couple dollars a day in price. But for you, the stacker, it doesn't really mean a whole lot, because if you're not a trader, you're just going to sit back and relax and hold your stack and watch as the fireworks progress. Russia and China furiously buying up gold. That is the case, especially in Russia, now that the sanctions have taken place for Russian miners. So the government of Russia is buying up their local production of gold, and they're trading a lot more with China. Okay, so Russia buying gold and looking east. The United States not buying gold and not looking east. I'm not sure what the United States is doing, but I think that we're seeing chinks in the armor and more empire collapse, despite the pseudo strength in the US dollar, which has a little ways to go before I think that it peters out. And like I said, race to the bottom for currencies. I've said that all along. They're all rubbish compared to gold, of course, and the dollar may very well be the last one that devalues. But we're seeing all kinds of action all over the world with their currencies, with bonds, interest rates, you name it. And so let's take a look at what happened in 2014. The final numbers that I promised you a few videos back. What were the finalized numbers for 2014? Why should you care? And where are we going from here in 2015? The final 2014 annual results of what happened and why you should care. Okay, we see precious metals, that palladium up, gold about even, platinum and silver down, numismatics down slightly, some numismatics faring better than others, and this kind of surprises me that $20 Liberties and $20 St. Gaudens would be down overall on 2014. Now this is the wholesale price for these rare coins, and it doesn't tell the story for all numismatics, as some of my numismatic coins and semi-numismatic coins have actually gone up despite the price of gold and silver going down. So it depends on what you own. That's why you own variety, because some of the stuff is going to go up, some of it's going to go down, some of it's going to have a bigger market than others. You're going to find buyers that are looking for certain items and will pay a premium for them. So that's why you get variety. Variety is the spice of life. US dollar versus foreign currencies, we can see that at the end of 2014, that year, the whole gambit of currencies was weaker against the dollar. Dollar much stronger versus Chilean peso, Japanese yen, of course the euro, and so on and so on. Even the Chinese yuan weakened against the US dollar. Now this dollar strength, the US dollar index at 90.09 on the year. We will see continued dollar strength for the near term, but in the long term, like I said, the dollar should be the currency that goes down last of all currencies, and of course will not go up against gold. Everything will go down against gold, basically. Why should you care? Well, because where gold goes, silver goes. And you can still buy silver at a good price, especially 90% silver. Junk silver is easy to get. Some dealers call it coin silver, but whatever they call it, it's something that you can get at very close to spot price, even if you're on a budget. And you don't have to worry really about it not having that convertibility and that recognition, name recognition in the market. Now, why else should you care? Well, let's take a look here at foodstuffs. And when we take a look at foodstuffs, we see something very interesting here. Okay, human food here. Beef, okay, chicken, pork, all went up dramatically in 2014. Now that will continue in 2015, obviously. Flour, corn oil, oats, cheddar cheese. Look at that, down big time in 2014. I find that very surprising. I should have been eating more cheddar. And what does this tell you if you're on a budget? If you have a large family on a budget, living hand to mouth, check to check, you need to adjust your eating habits and adjust your grocery spending to go with the trend. What can you get at a value? What is going to be more expensive? And how can you take advantage of that? Because we're going to see nothing but volatility in 2015. I thought 2014 would be what 2015 is going to be. So I was about a year off on that prediction, but again, not having access to the actual data, not being able to see the cooked books that the Fed and the international banks all keep, puts us at a disadvantage. However, we have something that will protect us, gold and silver, and that is what the common guy and gal can do to hopefully take some of the pain out of the volatility that it will be 2015. Now you might be asking, hey, why do you keep preaching gold and silver, physical gold and silver? Well, not because I think that it'll necessarily perform so spectacularly compared to equities or real estate or anything else, but that it will have a lesser downside no matter what happens. So it's a hedge, insurance, right? It's going to be the least ugly of the gals at the ball that you're going to want to dance with. And that's important because you all want to preserve what you have in the face of mismanagement of the world's resources and political shenanigans like you've never seen. I think what's coming up here in 2015 for sure is higher commodity prices, except for crude oil, obviously, and shenanigans that will make the Paris attacks look like child play. What do you think?